Greetings, Raiders. This video is intended to help a wide range of players to manage their resources after the release of Chapter 10. The addition of Technomagic gear as the new pinnacle gear set and how to manage your available resources will be key to success in this new paradigm. Managing your stamina, gold, rubies, and other resources is an important skill, and I hope this video helps newer players, veteran players, free-to-play, and even players that spend. First resource I'm going to talk about is stamina. Stamina is a regenerating resource in King's Raid that regenerates 1 stamina unit per 30 seconds, 2 stamina a minute, or 120 stamina per hour, or over up to 2,880 per day. It is highly recommended that you consume your stamina when possible. If you can keep your stamina underneath the maximum value, it will continuously regenerate. Anytime you are at or exceed your maximum stamina, the regen charges will stop. Due to this, if you are sitting at max stamina for a prolonged period of time, any stamina that could have been regenerated is lost, as you never gained it. In order to maximize your farm and resource gains, you do need to consume stamina as much as possible. Spending your stamina on raids or adventure stages for gold is important. An interesting trick that I see that doesn't really get mentioned by other players or is just extremely uncommonly known is that while doing raids, regardless of whether it is team raid or solo raid, after the loot reward menu is removed, either from you clicking or from the auto repeat forcing it down, you are able to click the plus sign in the upper left corner during the results screen, and it will give you immediate access to your stamina items. By manipulating this, you can actually continue a auto repeat run, even in party, and keep your stamina under full and consume stamina items as needed to keep your stamina from being too low to stop the runs because you've run out of stamina, but also keep it from being too high by being over your maximum stamina. By doing stages, you can consume potions in any quantity. If you have over 600 stamina, you can usually take about 2 to 3 potions at a time every couple of runs while doing raids. This is a useful trick both to new and veteran players, and I hope that players can learn how to use this. It's something that I came across a while back. I have told other players about it, but I think it is not common knowledge amongst the entire player base. While regeneration of stamina and the daily claim of stamina are the primary sources of stamina, they are not the only sources of stamina. Another source that I highly recommend is checking out the guild shop. In the basic guild shop, there is an option to purchase stamina potions. They're 300 points apiece, or 270 if you have Veronica for the guild discount. These potions will give 150 stamina for 270 guild coins. You'll have plenty of guild coins if you've already completed Manticore sets and are no longer buying Manticore pieces from the guild shop. It is recommended that players still build Manticore if you do not have completed sets, but if you've already completed sets and are working on TM gear, you will find that you will not be buying as much Manticore items as before, and you will start to have excess guild coins. The excess guild coins can be certainly used towards these stamina potions. Additionally, 1,000 guild coins can be acquired every single day merely by spending stamina. You gain 1 guild coin per stamina spent up until you've spent 1,000 stamina. So players who have only been spending 500 stamina to claim the 1,500 claim from their daily quests have been missing 500 guild coins a day that they could have gained otherwise. It is recommended that all players do this, as guild coins are a valuable commodity and very limited source, as the only means to get them is from several guild activities that are time gated. The other location to gain stamina is through Juno's shop. The amity gained from sending friendship points every single day with your players on your friends list can be used to buy items that provide stamina. The prices are fairly high, but if you own Juno, they are discounted by a fairly decent margin, by 40%. So it is recommended only to be purchasing these items after you have Juno, or if your friendship points are about to hit their limit, which is 6,000. Though this is a source of stamina, it is more recommended, in my honest opinion, to use these points towards NPC gift items instead, as these items are very valuable towards progression of NPC heroes, some of which are some of the more powerful heroes in the game or have strong utility in different pieces of content that you may need them for. Additionally, the League of Honor shop also features a small selection of stamina potions that can be purchased. It's 20 potions per week and costs a total of 3,000 League of Honor coins. You will need to participate in League of Honor sufficiently in order to purchase these stamina potions. I personally do every single week, and I recommend other players do as well. Next, let's talk about gold. This is a resource that many players struggle to maintain, as there are many gold sinks from acquiring gear. Primary source of gold is going to be the gold stockade for the majority of the player base. It is absolutely vital that you use available 1 hour gold scrolls and 1 hour hot time whenever you run the gold stockade. If you use the 1 hour scroll before the midnight reset, you can do the stockade for 2 days on a single 1 hour scroll, and it is recommended if you play in the later hours. The next biggest source of gold is actually selling potions. You can purchase the small and medium EXP potions from May's shop, fill them, and then sell the filled versions for a net profit. While the profit margin is small, it does add up over time, so do check May's shop for those potions. Again, this is only the small and medium EXP potions that this works on. Any of the larger potions sold in May's shop will be sold at a net loss, so do not purchase them. The majority of potions you will be filling and making the most money from, though, is actually going to be from the EXP stockade. Stage 6 of the EXP stockade provides 540 concentrated potions, 400 of which you will need to equip and fill, but if you fill all 540 to max and then sell them, you will yield a profit or a gold value of 3,240,000 gold per EXP stockade, and you can do this twice. This allows you to gain an additional 6.48 million gold every single day. The next largest, which actually isn't that far behind the potion selling, is actually your guild raid. If your guild is able to do guild raid hell 3 times a week, you gain a substantial amount of gold. Every guild raid hell, when fully completed, has provided a total of 14,300,000 gold to every member of the guild. It is important that a guild does do all 3 guild raids every week in order to maximize gold gains for all members, provide additional guild coins which can be used for additional potions from the guild shops, etc. So whatever you gotta do, make sure you're spending enough stamina to gain the activity points needed to do 3 guild raids per week, as the gold income will be appreciated by your entire guild. And lastly, you do gain some gold from your daily and weekly quests. These values do vary depending on your team level, but it does provide an additional 17.4 to 18.4 million gold each week, so long as you complete your dailies and your weekly quests that provide gold. Also, the League of Victory and World Boss boxes, which can be done most days of the week, do provide you with gold fairly frequently, but are not a guaranteed source of gold as the rewards are randomized. But they do very commonly provide gold, so that's an additional source that you can be sure to count on fairly regularly. Did you know you can turn dragon coins into gold? The addition of TM gear, our stockpile of dragon coins isn't doing much for us these days. Depending on what items you choose to buy from Jin's shop, you're going to find yourself with loads of extra dragon coins every week with no real use. However, if you buy the T3 gear and then sell it from your inventory, you can gain 1,800 gold per 450 dragon coins. This is a ratio of 1 dragon coin to 4 gold. While it doesn't sound like a lot, it does give you a use for all the excess dragon coins you have from doing either dragon or TM raids every week. Even if you're doing stage 1 of the TM raids with the current drop rates, it's possible to convert the dragon coins to gold at a higher rate than the gold cost of identifying drops on average. Some alternative ways to make gold is to actually grind runes. Now this has to be done in a very specific way. So when you grind runes, you don't actually want to sell the runes outright, as you only get a very little amount of gold for the runes. Instead, you want to grind it into the rune crystals, or rune fragments as they are. And then the rune fragments, you sell them for gold. So instead of the 1,300 gold we would have got just selling the rune directly, we sell it for 20,000 gold instead. And then ancient runes, if you grind and then sell them, yield 125,000 gold, which is actually a pretty decent return. Additionally, selling weaker scrolls, if you've been doing hard dragons for the weekly, if you do the stage 1 hard dragon, it's actually a pretty decent amount of gold. You'll get the gold from the scrolls being sold. And then you also get a gold box, which can yield anywhere from 37,500 gold up to 1.5 million. This is more common, this is more rare. The average yield of a box is roughly about the 75,000 gold per run. So, modest amount, and it does add up as you do the weekly quest. So, get gold from there. Now, if you find yourself in a situation that you are consuming more gold than you're acquiring from your weekly yields, at this point what you need to do is consider spending stamina for gold. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. It is recommended generally to run the experience stages. The Talisha dungeon, in my opinion, is not very good because once you have 276% gold bonus, you'll actually get more gold from running the normal adventure stages than it's possible to get from the Talisha dungeons. This is a reference point based on gold obtained per stamina spent. So if you have 276% or higher, the Talisha dungeon has less return than just running normal adventure stages. Additionally, depending on your gold bonus, the stage that's most optimal for gold is going to vary. At 346% gold bonus, stage 1029 is the best gold to stamina ratio if you're selling all gear drops. If you're not selling, or this is if you're selling gear drops. If you're below 346% gold bonus, it is instead better to run 923 to get the better gold to stamina ratio. If you need Stardust, which is a material needed for crafting the Juno shop items for the NPC gifts, it is recommended that you use the Repositorium entries and grind those, or purchase the Jin items, the T3 Dragon gear, and grind those instead as a solid source of income for the Stardust needed for the NPC gifts. I'm going to do a quick tour through the available shops in King's Raid and what items to purchase. First up, we got the Raid shop. This is offered by Jin. It is recommended always, regardless of where you are in the game, to always buy the Reforged tickets and the 2 Dragon Kinship boxes, as these boxes provide the items necessary for unlocking NPC heroes and their unique weapons. The Legendary Enchant Scroll and T8 Legendary Gear 2 option selector tickets are optional, depending on where you are progression-wise. I'm still picking them up based on my personal preference, but that's up to you if you want to spend the extra Dragon Coins for that. And as mentioned earlier, if you have excess Dragon Coins and want to put them to some use, you can always buy some T3s and sell them for gold. Some blue items in there. So, boom. Just instant gold. Alright. Next up we got May's shop. Her items are always randomized and it resets every hour. So whenever it has new over her shop, always come and check it out and see what's in there. If you see the small or medium EXP flasks, go ahead and buy those up. If you fill them and then sell them, you'll get back more gold than you spent, so it's free income. Other items to look out for are unique weapon frags, unique treasure fragments, artifact pieces, and reforged tickets. Those items can show up here. Additionally, special option or special gear tickets can show up. That they are kind of pricey, and the chance of getting a good item from them is kind of low at only a 3% rate for artifact, unique weapon, or UT. But some players may find that worth purchasing, so just keep an eye on that. If you do have May unlocked, you do get a pretty decent discount, so it is recommended to have May unlocked, so that way you can save gold on all your purchases and increase the gold gained from buying the small and medium flask and then filling and selling them. Loman Shop. It is always recommended to buy the unique weapon fragments that are offered every week. This is only a small portion of your crystallization power you gain from your world boss if you're doing world boss consistently. And this will allow you to progress your main hero's weapon and the weapons of your support team as needed. Once you have enough points set aside, you can then purchase the Abyssal Crown, which is primarily used for scoring content. It is recommended to at least get the 0-star Abyssal Crown first and foremost. It is a very powerful artifact, and it is used through not only scoring content, but many other side content as well. It's very much a staple artifact in my opinion. Heart of the Abyss is also extremely powerful and is recommended to be your second purchase, as it is extremely strong in multi-stage levels, and its attack bonus can stack with the Abyssal Crowns, and both effects will be piling onto your main DPS, making them more powerful. Additionally, the Heart of the Abyss is exceedingly strong for Devour stage and Eclipse, where it gets the most use. After that, there are other artifacts that may be worth picking up, but it's going to be entirely situational, and I don't want to go too far in depth. But those are the two artifacts. Pick up Abyssal Crown first, Heart of the Abyss, and then after that you want to start starring them up. Which one you start up depends on the content you want to focus on. If you want to focus on scoring content and going through hard stages of stuff, go for the Abyssal Crown. If you're primarily focused on advancing your Devourer stages or Eclipse, then go for Heart of the Abyss. We got Juno's shop. It's been mentioned before. Has stamina items and NPC gift items. It is recommended you buy the NPC gift items for the NPC you are focused on currently and crafting those items. Glad he's got a couple shops here. So we got his League of Victory shop. You'll just pick up unique weapons periodically as you do arena and get victory medals. Make sure you're doing arena at least every Monday to get the daily coins throughout all 7 days of the week. Though it is strongly recommended you do the quest each day and try to get up as high a rank as you can. But that's up to each individual player how much time you want to spend in arena. His League of Honor shop will have several different rewards. The primary rewards I focus on are the unique treasure fragments. First and foremost, this is one of your main sources of unique treasure fragments and should never be skipped. I also like picking up the stamina potions, as having more stamina is always good just for running more stages, and you can pick a good number of these. And then lastly, the artifact pieces, as I like to try to unlock as many artifacts as I can possible and get them started up. If you're a newer player, you may be tempted to buy the Awakening Fragments, and you certainly can. I do recommend you stick with this assorted fragment box, as it gives you the best amount of fragments for the amount of League Honor coins you're spending. Only purchase these additional 2 items if you have already purchased the minimum amount or bought all the assorted fragment boxes first, as these have a lower return of reward for the amount of League of Honor coins spent. And lastly, he's got the Insignia shop. This is less commonly used. It's mostly used at the end of seasons, where you want to pick up some costumes or pick up some reforged tickets. It is recommended to always get the reforged tickets. Anything else beyond that is going to be your personal preference. And the last shop to talk about is the guild shop. Again, got a couple shops here. First and foremost is the basic guild shop. The primary items you're going to be looking to purchase here is going to be the reforged tickets and unique treasure fragments. The amount of these that are available depends on how far your guild has progressed the guild shop. I don't know when the first one unlocks, but I know the second set of reforged tickets UT unlocks when you get the shop to level 10. Additionally, you can buy stamina potions. These can be bought unlimited, and it is recommended you buy these with the excess guild coins that you have, especially if you're farming TM raids, as you're going to need as much stamina as you can because of the drop rates being as low as they are. Guild raid shop, if you're a newer player, you'll focus on buying manticore gear for your primary DPS, so buy the armor, sub-armor, earrings, and chaos orbs. So that way you can build a full manticore set. If you have completed manticore set, you can start changing your purchasing strategy, but always pick those up. Additionally, if your guild is clearing hard or hell stages, you'll get access to the materials needed for crafting the Manticore 2 option ticket, so make sure you're always picking those up. The last item to specifically note would be the weapon rune box. If you are having trouble getting attack runes, P-Tough, or M-Tough runes, as those are the three very commonly used runes from this set, go ahead and don't feel like it's bad to purchase this, though depending on how many runes you're getting regularly, you may not necessarily need to purchase this, but it is an option if you're in need. It is a bit pricey on the amount of points, but it's not the worst thing to purchase. And lastly, the Guild War Shop. Just like Gladi Shop, I do recommend you always buy the unique treasure fragments first, as sources of unique treasure fragments are not all that abundant. If you have excess points and want to put them to use, you would next want to purchase unique weapon frags if you want to focus on a new hero's weapon. The Circle of Friendship is another good item to purchase since it goes towards unlocking NPCs or NPC unique weapons. And if you specifically want to build Hannes, then skip both the unique weapon frags and the Circle of Friendship and just buy the Wargaming set, as it gives you the best return of points towards Hannes for the least amount of Guild War medals. Alright, now this is the big resource for Chapter 10. We want to manage our boss crystals and the technomagic gear here in Valance's shop. Whenever you get new drops, you will need to identify them. This does cost 500,000 gold. This is why we covered talking about gold earlier in the video, is you need to make sure you have a steady gold income so that way you can pay to identify items. Through management, the Techno Magic Gear Enhancement will be able to pay gold and the materials needed to upgrade the star, which raises the base stats of the Techno Magic Gear. So again, we will need a steady supply of gold. A lot of your gear upgrade stones will come from the weekly gold purchase in the shop. I'll show that at the end. Reforge will require reforge tickets, and the boss crystals from the boss. Reforge tickets we covered that you can buy from Jin's shop and from the guild shop, so make sure that you're picking those up, and also looking in May's shop for additional ones that you can pick up and purchase. As for the boss crystals, you'll just have to fight the boss to get those. Technomagic Restoration is when you get a gear piece to the 5-star, you're able to push an item to the reclaimed. You do get a limited resource of that, so make sure that whenever you're actually pushing a gear up from the base Technomagic gear to the reclaimed Technomagic gear, that you're doing it on a piece that is very good or best in slot, depending on how restrictive you want to be. Technomagic crafting. Because the boss crystals are based on stamina you spend, we want to make sure that we're using these effectively. There are several strategies on this, and depending on the strategy you go for is going to vary how much gold you consume and how many drops you're going to get. So, I myself, because I have a wide range of available DPS, the warrior, archer, mechanic, wizard, and the presets are all valuable for me. Because of these classes, most of the gear options are also good, such as armor, the secondary gear, earring, orb, And in the case of priests, sometimes having the necklace, bracelet, or ring can also be good. Knight set is also kind of decent, but not my personal favorite, but we just want to showcase that depending on how many of the options are good, you may not necessarily want to use a filter. I myself personally, for Galgoria, I don't use any filters because of the amount of classes and gear types that are needed. Spending the least amount of gold and getting the most number of drops will ultimately yield better results for me personally. If you only need a single or only a couple classes, like if you only needed priest and archer, then using filters may be a good idea. If you only need earrings specifically because you've collected other pieces, then targeted crafting can be good. Now, because I don't have anything close to completed sets and maybe only have one good piece on a couple classes, I'm still going to stick with using no filter for Galgoria. Siegfried mostly provides support sets for him as well. The Knight set, Warrior set for Priscilla, Archer set for like Requena and Talisha, Mechanic set for like Annette, Odie, Wizard set for Veronica or other supports, and just the Priest set's actually not very good for this. I think the bonus is actually really bad. But we still got Knight, Warrior, Archer, Mechanic, and Wizard. So that's 5 classes, so we still have a greater chance of getting a piece that's good versus bad, so we can do more pulls if we do no filter. As for gear pieces, since a lot of these are for support, we don't necessarily need earrings per se. We'll mostly want orb, necklace, bracelet, ring, secondary, and armor. And again, because we need most of these and then most of the classes, I personally say go for the unfiltered because you'll be able to get the most amount of items and fill up the slots a lot quicker. It also spends less gold because every time you apply a filter, you're increasing the cost of the material by double, but increasing the gold cost by triple. So I can instead get 2 unfiltered items instead of 1 single filter, and only spend 2 million gold instead of 3 million gold. So that's the key way to save. And then if you go even further, if you're going for the double filter and really limiting the item to class and piece specific, you're spending even higher amount of gold. So usually recommended you only use the double filter when you're just when you've completed a 3-piece set and you just want to target aim to finish up that 4th piece so you can actually wear the set, so that you do need 4 pieces to get the set bonus. Lastly, Askelion. For this set, a lot of this is kind of more niche or PvP stuff. I personally have been building priest gear from it, so I usually go with a priest filter, but then don't use a filter for the other types, as I'm currently not particularly aiming for any of the other sets currently. Depending on if you are more towards PvP, you may want to actually look at these sets, as they do have some pretty good bonuses for PvP or short fights, depending on which class you're looking for. The Knight set's also pretty good for some heroes, so you may want to consider that as well. But because I'm mostly focused on priests, so 1 out of 7, it's better I filter. It does cost me a little more gold, but allows me to get the pieces I want specifically. Because priests can and do build different accessories, I don't filter, as I do need earrings, necklace, bracelet, and ring, as well as the armor, secondary, and orb that every class or every hero has to wear. So effective use of your crystals will be important and will also affect how much gold you're spending, so make sure you're using your filters accordingly. I know a lot of players are using the double filter because they want to try to complete sets quickly, but they're also costing themselves a lot more gold in the short term and long term if they continue to do it. So that's my suggestions on handling the Techno Magic gear. And lastly, a big reason why I recommend the lower filters is in case you do get a bad gear piece, the gear can be grinded for 100 or 200 frags if it's a reclaimed piece with a bad roll. We can grind these pieces and you'll get back some of the shards. The amount of shards gained back does not change based on the filters you use. So using lesser filters, thus spending less coins, you get more of a rebate back. So it is recommended to use the unfiltered when possible, as you will spend less boss crystals over time, as well as spending less gold. And the last thing I want to cover is the special shop. So you want to make sure you're summoning your free ticket every day. The blue tickets, I personally summon them because you can sometimes get stamina items, you can get artifact pieces, or at the very least you get a piece of gear that you sell for just a little extra gold. It's not much, but it's just something that's there. I just have a habit of doing it. I do recommend that players who are able to clear at least into the higher stages of Shakma do consider buying the Shakma Helm decoration times 10. For 1,000 rubies, you get an additional 10 entries, which can be up to 160 unique weapon or 160 unique treasure fragments. You can also use those entries towards gold if you so choose as the reward. I personally don't, and I don't plan to. I have sufficient gold income that I'm able to sustain without it. But some players, especially those that purchase stamina with either real money or purchasing stamina with rubies, may find that their gold incomes are depleting quicker and may need that extra infusion of gold. The entries as well, because it is 10 entries, it is also effectively purchasing 1/10 of a otherworldly Shakma clear, so 1/10 of the big boss rewards. You can factor that in as well. This actually makes the Shakma Helm decoration a better purchase than even the Ruby purchase package of unique treasure or unique weapon fragments, which only provides 350 for 2,500 rubies. You can get almost the same amount. I think I get somewhere around like 290 UT frags for the 1,000 rubies from the doing stage 9 of Devourer and then stage 6 of Otherworldly. So I get a better UT frag per ruby purchase by doing the Shakma entry tickets. So I recommend that, especially regardless of where you are progression wise, newer or older players. Though if you're a newer player and only doing the lower stages of Shakma, I'd probably recommend holding off until you're at least doing stage 5 and up before that really becomes worth purchasing. For the Techno Magic Gear, you'll have the option to buy these Techno Magic Gear upgrade slots. It does cost 70 million to buy all 10 purchases. It is 7 mil per purchase of 10 upgrade stones. I do recommend players buy these every week for now because you do need quite a bit of these upgrade stones in order to upgrade gear. And even if the gear upgrades, or sorry, gear drop rate does go up in the future, it is likely you will still need a lot of stones to complete gear, even if you're grinding a bunch of the drops to get the upgrade stones. And that way, you can always cut back later on your purchases if you feel like you're getting over. But I feel like it will never be to a point where you will be completely devoid of purchasing these. The Ruby version purchases, that's up to you. I personally don't, but players choose what they want to do. So, just wanted to cover that from the shops. Let's see. Last thing I wanted to cover was... I think it was in Hero Growth. Yeah, if you're a newer player, you may want to consider purchasing the All Fragments 1x100 for 7,770 gold. Once you have a lot of, your full roster kind of up to T5, I feel like the amount of Awakening Fragments are acquired at a sufficient rate. At that point, you can pretty much stop. So do this if you're newer and you're trying to just get heroes to T5. But once you're doing like Fragment Dungeon 6, you get frags pretty quickly as long as you're choosing the right frags you need for the heroes you're trying to progress. This was a very long video. I appreciate those who stayed and watched, and I hope you learned something, even if you're a newer or older player. There was plenty of tips throughout this video, and I hope you can use this knowledge to better progress your account in King's Raid. Thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful rest of your day.